Hi guys, my name is Trin and today I'm here to do a book review and discussion for Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. If you don't know, this is the last book of the Infernal Devices trilogy, and this is actually my second time reading this book. So the last time I read this was like back in 2013, and I can't believe I'm done with the Infernal Devices. Like, there are no more books, there's only 3 books and I'm done with this series. For the synopsis, I'm not gonna tell you anything just because it is the final book, and usually when it comes to like sequel or like maybe like the last book of series, I won't even tell you the synopsis because spoilers, you know. I think it's just best to read the series because after finishing Clockwork Princess, I was so emotional. I was like crying since page 1. From the very beginning, I was already emotional. So this has to be like one of my favorite series of all time. I love this so much. Like, I love the Infernal Devices. Oh my god, I have so many feelings. So if you don't know, I have a book review and discussion for the first book and the second book. So this is the third book, and I can't believe it's over. Like, there's no more books to read from the Infernal Devices. Like, I know I have to read City of Heavenly Fire, and I will, because I want to finish the Moral Instruments. The characters are still great in this book, but since it's the final book, we really focus on the plot. It's really important, you know, like the plot is important, but for the characters, we really go in depth with each and every one of them. I feel like in like Clockwork Prince. In that book review discussion, I really broke it down with every single character. So for this book, we really focus on the plot, and I really appreciate that. I will say on page 16 of the hardcover, there is the G word, you know, that ethnic slur. I find it really irritating whenever I see that word in the Infernal Devices because that G word was in the first book and then also in the third book, and a part of me is just like, why is it even in this book? Because it's so unnecessary. Like, it's just a term that's used to describe this person, you know, but I feel like you could have used any other words beside that ethnic slur. It's just a thing that's like really irritating to me. Overall, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It was so fucking good. I cry so much. It's not even that hard to just like think about the characters and then start bawling because I am a child. So that is it for my review. I highly recommend this series if you're interested. So now I'm about to jump into the spoiler section. So leave if you don't want to be spoiled. Like, leave if you have not read this series. But stay if you have. I'm sure many people have read this series because it's amazing and I love the Infernal Devices. So yeah, I'm about to jump into the discussion section now, okay? So leave now if you have not read the book. Let's talk about Tessa because she is the main character of this trilogy. So Tessa's parents, we finally know who they are basically and how she became who she is, you know, because she's a warlock but she doesn't have marks, and then we've been told that she is a half demon and half shadow hunter, you know, because her mom is a shadow hunter and then her father is a demon, which is impossible. So let's start with the fact that she is the daughter of a demon and a shadow hunter. So turns out that this is also associated with Aloysius Starkweather. So Starkweather is known for like killing downwarders. Like, they were very ruthless and vicious. So Starkweather and others killed John Shade and his wife. They are Mormon's parents, and Mormon is like very pissed about that. So as revenge, the granddaughter Adele Starkweather, so this poor baby, she gets switched with a mundane baby because they both look the same. And then of course the human Zhao die because she's not a shadow hunter. So we see it in the prologue. I was so emotional because I knew what was coming, you know, but I was just like so emotional because this poor child, she died. She's so innocent. She didn't do anything wrong and she died. And then the real Adele was raised as a mundane, so she's raised as Elizabeth Moore, or like eventually she becomes Elizabeth Grey. So she is the mom of Tessa. How did she, you know, give birth to Tessa? Well, number one, she did not carry any marks on her. So every shadow hunter has runes on them, you know, like when you reach the age of 10, I believe, you have runes drawn on you by the Silent Brothers. For Elizabeth, or like the real Adele, that never happened to her because she was raised as a mundane. But then also she was wearing that Clockwork Angel necklace on her when she gave birth to Tessa because that Clockwork Angel prevents Tessa from being a stillborn. The fact that it happened, and it makes sense because the whole time we're like, what? That can't happen. But it turns out that the Shadow Hunter didn't carry marks on her. So, but then my question was like, you're telling me that this entire time that the real Adele like never questioned where she's from? You know how like in TMI, Clary has the sight, and then she sees things, and then she's like, oh shit, I'm a shadow hunter, I didn't know that. The real Adele, I feel like, I don't know, maybe she could have seen something weird, but she didn't. I guess she really grew up not knowing that she was a shadow hunter, and it's really sad how she and her husband died, because we've been told that when Tessa was like 3 or like 4, I don't even know, the parents died. So a part of me is like, okay, was that like an accident kind of thing, because we've been told that they could die in a carriage accident. But a part of me is like, what happened if, like, I don't know, Mormon killed them or something? I don't even know, but I really doubt it. I really think that they actually died in a carriage accident, you know, like it's actually real. But it's crazy, you know. So the father is an Eidolon demon, so he shapeshift, and then that's just really wrong in my opinion. So Tessa is the key to Mormon's plan. We've been told over and over again that she is like the key to Mormon's plan. And the whole time thinking like, okay, like what can she do that no one can do? So she is a special warlock. Turns out that she can get pregnant, because that's what Mormon says. And then Mormon wants her to breed his children. That's really gross because he's so fucking old. Like if you think about it, he's really old. So Mormon wants the binding spell from his father. So Tessa has to change into John Shea. I guess she gave the formula or like the spell, the equation, whatever, to Mormon. And then we see this creation. It's basically an automaton but with demon spirit. So the whole time I was like, oh okay, that's it. Like I was so unimpressed, but then we find out that this shit is so damn strong. Seraph blades don't even work on the automatons. I was like, oh yeah, the shadow hunters are so damn screwed, and they totally are. Like that scene where the automatons kill so many people in that village, I was horrified. Like it's just so wrong. So for Mormon, let's quickly talk about the villain, because I find him so interesting. So in a way, I do understand why he's so bitter, like why he wants revenge on the shadow hunters, because the Starkweathers, you know, like they fucking kill his parents. Like the thing is, I don't even know what's the truth. Why John and Aunt Shay are like killed viciously? Is it because like the shadow hunters are just so ruthless, or is it because they actually did some illegal shit? I feel like I should know the truth of what happened, but like we have so many different accounts on what happened, so I don't even know. Yeah, Mormon and the fairies work together to switch the babies and stuff. The fact that he orchestrated this entire damn thing really impressed me. Like when he's like, yeah, Tessa, like she exists because of me, we're like, bitch, how's that even possible? But then we learned the truth, and then we're like, oh okay, so he planned this entire damn thing for years, like for decades if you think about it. The fact that he has so many patience for this. So let's quickly talk about the plot. So at the very beginning, the first 2 chapters were amazing in my opinion, because Benedict Lightwood has turned into a worm, a demonic worm. Like this guy is just horrible. Yeah, I felt bad, but then again, not really. He's the worst, but I do feel bad for his children. So Benedict eats Rupert Blackthorn, who is his son-in-law, I believe. So Tatiana just recently got married, and then boom, her husband died because of her dad. That's so horrible in so many ways. The team defeats the worm, and Cecily was like pretty awesome. Cecily's fucking amazing in my opinion. So let's talk about Council Wayland. So we have this guy, Council Wayland, and he was introduced in the second book. I cannot believe that when I read Clockwork Prince, I thought that he was fine, you know, because like he supports Charlotte, but I should have fucking known that he was just as horrible as Benedict, because he's like insanely sexist. He's really prideful. So it turns out that in the book, he's been serving the clay for like 10 years and his term is about to end, and the council wants Charlotte Branwell to be the next council, but of course he's like, no, I don't want her to be the next council. What the fuck? Everyone's like, excuse me? Even the Inquisitor was like, what the hell, Wayland? And then the council tells Gideon and Gabriel that he only appointed Charlotte as the head of the Institute so he could control her. But of course that didn't happen. She's too independent. And I love Charlotte so much. I love the fact that she's just like, fuck you, council. Like, I feel so bad for her when she finds out the truth that he never really believed in her. And then the council, he just does so many fucked up shit. Like, he blackmailed the Lightwood boys. I like how at the end, even like the council was like, fuck you, council. Even the Inquisitor is pissed at Wayland, and then how at the end when he gets killed, I was like really happy because I hate him. I really do. Even though he was killed by an automaton, I don't feel bad at all. Like, I think he deserved it. Like, as horrible as it sounds, I think he really deserved his death, because like even like moments before he died, he was just so bitter and he really hates Charlotte, and then he gets killed. So Gabriel and Cecily. So we have Cecily, this new character who is Will's sister, and I really really love her. I love her relationship with Will. I love how they really care about each other. Like, she genuinely loves Will. Will loves his sister. I think it's so nice. And then we have Gabriel. We really go in depth with Gabriel in this book because in the last book he's like just confused, you know, but in this book he realizes that his dad Benedict is just horrible and he's so wrong. And then I feel so bad for Gabriel because he's being blackmailed by the council. And here's the thing, the council is actually powerful because that's like a really high position in the clave. And then I'm so glad that at the end Gabriel does the right thing, that he didn't send that message about Charlotte, you know, because that message, man, like damn, I was just like, Gabriel, don't you fucking send that, and he didn't, so it's totally fine. And then we have Gideon and Sophie, and damn, I love them so much. I feel like barely people talk about them. So I love Gideon and Sophie very much, and I love how in the very beginning Gideon fucks up with Sophie because of the scones thing, but then I like how in the middle he apologizes and then they talk, and then at the end they got engaged. I do wish we see more in this book. I feel like I barely see them. Like, we see a few moments here and there between Gideon and Sophie, but you know what, it's fine. Like, at the end they get engaged. Sophie is a shadow hunter now, which is amazing. I love Sophie so much. I think she's like a pretty great character. So Jem, my poor Jem. Turns out that he has been taking a lot of drugs, more drugs than usual. This Yin Fan thing, did I say it right? Oh my god, the drug basically. So Will bought so many drugs for Jem. That's like a year worth of supply, and then Jem took too many. So everything was gone in 2 months. Of course, Will is pissed. Tessa is also pissed. Turns out Mormon has the supply. So Jem is fucking screwed. There's no more drugs. So everyone knew that he was about to die. So the scene where the Institute gets that message from Mormon along with that pack of drugs, and Jem threw it in the fire, and Will went after it and got it out, and his hands are like burnt, and I cried my eyes out because it's fucking heartbreaking. So let's quickly talk about Tatiana Blackthorne. So we finally get to see this new character who is the sister of, you know, the Lightwood. She's horrible. Like, yes, I feel bad for the fact that her husband died and she's pregnant too, so of course that's not good. But she tries to blame Will and Charlotte for her husband's death. She's just like, my dad didn't do shit. I'm like, dude, your dad ate your husband. If it wasn't for Charlotte and Will, it could have been so much worse. Let's quickly talk about Bridget. So Bridget is the cook, and we always find her annoying because of her songs, you know, but it's also very funny because the songs parallel to the event in the book. But Bridget can fucking fight. Like, whenever we see her fight, she's just like a machine. Like, she's so amazing at fighting, and there are times where I'm like, oh yeah, she's not a shadow hunter, she's just a mundane, but she can fight so well. Like, she's vicious. Even Will was like so impressed. And then at the end, that fight with Mormon, she fights so well. Like, she protects Charlotte and Henry. I have a tiny bit of respect for her. I will say I wish we learned more about her besides her like horrendous singing. I wish we learned so much more about Bridget because I think she's a fantastic fighter. So that fight at the Institute, Jessamine dies, and I was actually crying, even though in like the first 2 books I really did not like her at all. Like, even though she fucked up really badly by betraying them and stuff, she spent 2 months in the Silent City. Like, you could tell that that took a huge toll on her, and for her to die like that, I was fucking crying. Like, my god, it was like really emotional. And then because of her, she tells Will the real Idris, not Idris like that homeland. It's Cadair Idris in Wales, I believe, like where Will grew up. So let's quickly talk about this scene because the first time I read this book back in 2013, I was shocked. So it was Magnus, Will, and Jem. So Jem is like unconscious, and then Will and Magnus are talking, and I love their relationship so much. I love how they got closer, and they talk about Tessa. And of course, Magnus just casually was like, are you still in love with Tessa and stuff like that? So Jem overheard the entire conversation. Oh my god, the fact that Jem is like really relieved that Will loves Tessa. I cry even harder because this is heartbreaking in so many ways, because usually in like a love triangle, the guy is always pissed that like his best friend likes the same girl and shit. But for Jem, he's like, no, like, I'm really glad that you love Tessa too. And I'm like, I'm trying not to cry right now because I will. So Henry, we have Henry. I love Henry so much. I love Henry and Magnus. They create the portal. How amazing is that? Because we see the portal being used all the damn time in TMI. And the fact that Henry created that, like, that's amazing. I have so much respect for him. I love Henry so much. See, this is why I love these books. The characters are all freaking great. So Jem doesn't want anyone to find a cure anymore. You know, at first he's like, yeah, you can find a cure. But then afterward, he's just like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm just done. And it's so heartbreaking because like we got the ingredients and stuff, but then he just gives up, and I was fucking crying. I could not stop crying. And when Will feels the pain that Parabati rune on his like heart, I cried. I cried so much because like, oh my god, no one was there for Jem. Like, Tessa got taken away. Will was gone because he was going after Tessa. See, the thing is, I know that Jem didn't die, but that feeling, like that description of Will being in pain because of the Parabati bond, at the end of that paragraph, I guess, that passage, it says Jem was dead, and I cried my eyes out even though I knew he's not dead. So Will finally finds Tessa. So he's been traveling for like days, I believe. So he finds her, and then they're getting hot and heavy, and they have sex, and they're together. But a part of me is just like, yeah, it's cute and all because I really love Will and Tessa, but isn't this wrong? Isn't this kind of cheating in a way? Let me like explain my perspective here. Tessa was engaged to Jem. Jem supposedly dies, but they didn't know. So they decide to have sex. But the thing is, Jem is not dead. So of course, a part of me is like, isn't this kind of cheating? Even though Jem becomes a silent brother, but then silent brothers cannot get married. So like, I guess when Jem became the silent brother, did the engagement like break off? But they didn't have a proper conversation about it, you know? They just have sex. I'm like, okay, I guess this will happen and we just have to be fine with it. And then like the angel Razia, no, not angel Razia, angel Etheria left like that mark on Will. I thought that was really, well, predictable because, you know, Jace. So everyone is going to Kadera Idris, and I was shocked when I learned that Charlotte is going to battle. Why? Because she's pregnant. So the whole time I was like, Charlotte, like, I love you, but like, can you not fight because you're pregnant? I'm scared. That's the thing. I was so terrified because she's pregnant. So brother Zachariah, we learn about him in this book, and turns out he's Jem. Oh god, I'm so happy that we finally get the review, because the thing is, in City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls, we see brother Zachariah so much, and turns out he's Jem. I'm so happy for like 2 seconds. And then Tessa turns into the angel, and then he kills Mormon, and then the automatons die. Great, right? The whole time like I was like, wow, that's so easy. But then the thing is, she was about to die because she has heavenly fire in her veins. So I was like, you know what, let's get serious. Because I think the first time I read this book, I was like, oh, that's it, like that's so easy, like we solved that problem already. But no, like now that I'm older, I'm like, yo, she has a heavenly fire in her vein, like this is fucking dangerous. So Henry cannot walk. You know, he takes it with ease, I guess. So he's like, you know what, it's fine, like I can just make this wheelchair that goes around. I don't even know what he said, but the fact that Henry lives, I'm honestly glad that Henry lives, because if Henry fucking died, I will literally break down, because like Charlotte is pregnant, they love each other, I want them to be happy. So that talk with Tessa and Jem, and then Will and Jem, and I cry. I could not stop crying because it's honestly heartbreaking. I think it did mention that I think Jem knew what happened between Tessa and Will, and he's fine with it. Like, it did say that in the book, that he suspected something, you know, even though Tessa wanted to say, hey, Will and I had sex, but she didn't, because he's like, you know what, no, don't tell me, like I think I knew what happened. I really appreciate the fact that he gave them permission to be together, you know, because like he wants Will to be happy, he wants Tessa to be happy, he wants them to get together if they want to, and you know, have a family and be old. And oh, I love Jem so much. So at the very end, we have like a nice ending to this book. So Charlotte is the council, which is a good thing, and then Sophie becomes a shadow hunter, which is a good thing, and Jessamine turns into a ghost, which freaks me out at first. And then Will and Tessa are engaged, and then at the end, Will, Tessa, Cecily, and Gabriel visit the Herondales, and then we get to the epilogue, and I'm trying not to cry because the epilogue fucking broke me. I finished the book, and then for the epilogue, I read it the next day because I had so many things I had to do. So I read it the next day, and I could not stop crying. I had a tissue box next to me the entire time as I read this book. It's like 2008. Tessa is in London, you know, at the Blackfriars Bridge, and then she thinks about her life with Will. And I'm trying not to cry because I cry every time I think about this scene. So she thinks about Will and her life with him and their marriage and their family. Like the day Will died, we went in depth with like what happened and how his children were there and so many people were there on his deathbed. And then I'm trying not to cry. And then brother Zachariah came in, plays the violin, and Will died with Tessa and brother Zachariah next to him. So Tessa is like, I don't want to say broken, but like dad really hit her really hard. So she left London, she, you know, went to different places. And then Jem appears, and Jem is Jem. Jem is like the young, healthy Jem, not brother Zachariah, but Jem. It is like, wow, like, oh my god, Jem comes back, and Tessa and Jem are together. To me, it's a really great ending, because like, even though this book is about love triangle and stuff, this is like a really nice love triangle, because it's about love and support. So, that is it for my book review and discussion for Clockwork Princess. I cannot believe the Infernal Device is over. It's over now. So I love this book so much. It broke me in half, honestly. And I'm still recovering from the damn book. Like, I have not picked up a real novel in like a few days because like I'm still like hurt from this damn book. But I love it so much. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye!